Hi, this is Zendo. Welcome to Treeleaf. You know, one of the greatest misunderstandings about Zen, I think, is that some people believe our practice is about always being in the moment. They think that we have to live in the moment, and this is what we're studying in our Zen practice. Well, could you imagine if we always lived in the moment? I have to be in the moment. Oh, there's a moment. Oh, there I am in the moment. Oh, there it went. I have to get another moment. There I am in the moment. How could you live like that? We need to sometimes dream about the future, remember the past, multitask. When the baby's crying and the doorbell is ringing, we have to cook dinner. It's very hard to always be in the moment. There's a joke that if you tried to always be in the moment, you'd walk right off a cliff because you'd be so focused on the steps in front of your toes that you wouldn't notice that the road went right off the side of a mountain. We cannot always live in the moment. But our practice of right mindfulness is a whole bag of tricks. A whole bag of tricks that teaches us how to perceive the world and ourselves in new ways. And one of those tricks is that we learn to be in the moment when we want to. Now that's a different skill. Just to give you an example today, I took my son to the park and he was playing. It was a very pleasant evening and I was lost in thought. I was thinking about Treeleaf. I was thinking about things I had to do. I was everywhere else except with my son in the park. And suddenly I said to myself, I just want to be here, right now. And I dropped, this is a skill that we learn through our Zen practice. I dropped all thought of past, future. My thoughts cleared. There was nothing else at that moment but being present with my son in the park. It was an experience that was perfectly just what it was. And I was present in that moment. Perfectly present. And it was lovely. You see, right mindfulness, we could say that what it is learning to take the Buddhist philosophy, the new way of looking at the world, the new way of looking at ourselves, and actually putting it into practice. And it's not just one skill. It's not just one skill. I discussed some other skills yesterday. For example, there was a time that if I felt blue and the whole world looked to me blue, I thought the world was blue. The world was a nasty, ugly place because I felt inside nasty and ugly. I felt it really was that way. Now, when I feel blue and I see the world as being blue, I realize it's just a state of mind. That's not the real condition necessarily. Now, when I encounter another skill is when I encounter people who are difficult, my reaction is not so quickly that, oh, those are terrible, difficult people. It's that, oh, there's someone who, through perhaps greed or anger or ignorance or his own pain inside or his own suffering, is acting in a way which myself finds displeasing. I realize that myself is constantly bumping into all the other selves in the world. So when something in the world happens I don't like, I don't immediately think that, oh, that's just a lousy situation. I more easily think myself is just bumping into these other selves. And that's the way life is. And when I drop all thought of separate self, somehow the conflict vanishes away. We learn about attachment. We learn about impermanence. We learn about how the two relate together. You see, inside is outside and outside is inside. You notice how changing my inner state changes my experience of the outside world. Give you another example. If you suffer a loss, we recently lost all the recordings for Treeleaf for many, many months. They were just gone in a second because of a technical problem. There might have been a time when I was very attached to those. They were my possession, and I didn't want to lose them. And I thought things need to stay forever. But now, when something like that happens, I more easily say, nothing is permanent. And also, I release the attachment. It was just gone. Again. So right mindfulness, I would define as learning to not only understand the way we work inside, how our thoughts arrive and emotions arrive, and how that affects the outside, but it's learning to manipulate the two. I can learn to experience things in different ways than I used to experience them. There was a time, as we used to say, I took things very personally. Now I tend to take things much more impersonally. It's just events that are happening. But again, a large portion of our practice is learning to be present in the moment. One of the most beautiful is the tea ceremony. You hold the tea bowl in your hands, and there's nothing else. There's nothing else. Just that moment. You drop all thought of other things. You drop all thought of separation between yourself and the tea bowl. You drop all thoughts of perfection or imperfection. And then that experience, perfect or imperfect, is perfectly just what it is. And we drink. Yes, that is mindfulness too. Shall we sit with that?